Now that Abigail's taken us through the right subsectors to identify, let's turn our mind to surfacing individual targets. To do so, I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine, a friend I'm sure you'd all like to have too. So many good qualities: favourable economic conditions, double-digit growth, 25% IRR, strong precedent in the market for an exit multiple and IPO pathway. The problem is friends like this aren't easy to find. They exist in a very complex ecosystem. An environment dictated by anonymity, incompleteness, and no central source of truth. Chaos prevails in this world. For deal makers, it's very hard to find our friends amongst the noise. In order to get out in front, we at KPMG have turned to technology to help find our friends. My name is Stephen Hansen, a director in our technology and growth team. For the past 18 months, I've been working within our deals advisory business to develop KPMG Deal Torch, a tool that allows investors to analyse companies to give them scale and speed to identify targets that you can say yes or no to further due diligence. Earlier this morning, you've heard Mike talk about a world of big data, data that's being created even as we speak. Whilst we are creating a lot of data, not all data is equal. Its shape, its format, its lifespan is contributing to that ecosystem I referred to earlier. Whether intended or otherwise, organisations are at best inconsistent in the way that they retrieve, recall, and update key information used in their decision making. So how do we try and shine a light into this ecosystem? We've adopted a technology-led approach. This is primarily focused on the triangulation of subscription, public, and proprietary data. We've used disciplines such as text analytics and expression matching to bring that data together. We've established reporting hierarchies that actually allow us to talk to the various sources. We've created a common language, a language that can be interpreted through Deal Torch. As a result, we've created the largest database of private companies in Australia. This is allowing us to receive signals about our friends, no matter where they might be. To harvest these signals, we're bringing together structured and unstructured data. We're bringing those together across various data sources. We've also developed a composite attractiveness score that brings together multiple investment criteria. We look at company size, period-on-period growth, workforce efficiency, company age, industry performance, and key economic drivers. Let me take you through a process with a case study. Have you all seen headlines like these before? Clearly strong precedent for high deal multiples, successful exits for the sellers. But I'm wondering, are we too late in this market? What information would you like to have to make your decision? In order to answer those questions, we've developed a platform that brings multiple data sources together. At its core, Deal Torch uses three primary data sources. The first is the subscription data. We've been able to collate that and combine that together. We have coverage of 127,000 private companies through the Deal Torch datasets. Once we're able to identify those companies, we pass each one of them through the ASIC company names database. This lets us then validate their legal entity, their registration status, and their age. We're also able to start to combine proprietary information through KPMG CRM and the intelligence collected by our corporate finance team. This is giving us additional information on companies that we can identify. We're also able to bring in other data sets. You can see some of these here. So what does that mean? It means when we can refer to an industry body or a membership list, we get complete coverage of a sector. We're able to bring in additional data, additional information and insights that allow us to enhance our analysis. What we're finding through this process and with some of this unstructured data is we're able to create a pipeline of companies three times larger than what we could have done had we relied on the subscription data alone. Returning to our case study, let me illustrate that further with some publicly available information we've taken from the Australian Register of Therapeutic Goods. This is a publicly available data set, 86,000 entries across 1,600 companies. Our global intelligence tools and our artificial intelligence techniques allow us to programmatically query this website and extract additional information for our analysis. For this, we were able to obtain the number of devices for each company, their time on the register and any re-registrations, as well as their device summary and the categories in which they were reported. It's not just about finding the companies, but it's also about using advanced analytics. This is an example of topic modelling we've done. Whereas we may have been beholden to actually logging into the website, dropping down a filter and searching by category, we can now look at all 86,000 records at once and actually see what key themes and topics are emerging. This lets us bring and curate a data set that's more targeted. Not only are we getting increased exposure, we're getting increased insight. Once we are able to identify the individual companies, we further classify them using advanced analytics, namely machine learning. Unsupervised machine learning means we take any preconceptions out of the analysis. Our algorithms are designed to look for commonalities and patterns amongst the companies. What we can start to see now is a cohort of companies or peers or precedent transactions, and we're able to narrow in on what other companies that might be similar. They have a statistical significance to the ones that we found. In our case study, that was Waldo and Wally. When we did our inquiries, Waldo Capital had 3.5 times more devices registered in the AOTG than the second company. The machine learning didn't know that, but we gave the machine learning the variables of revenue and employees, and it found that company and it produced them in a cluster on their own. They were out on their own to my immediate right, to my far right, I should say. What we're seeing now is a link between size, scale, and those other attributes and those financial qualities. That's a relationship we can extrapolate out across the entire data set. I also referred to our composite attractiveness score earlier. For Wally, he got 84 out of 100. That rank puts him within the top 5% of all companies we've analysed. But it's not just about Wally and Waldo. We know they've been acquired. What we're starting to do with our tools and techniques is actually start to surface other companies. We now have line of sight of the dog, the wizard, and some of Wally's other friends who meet our investment criteria. It's through DealTorch, the outcomes we're able to achieve for our clients are speed and exhaustiveness. We completed this analysis in as little as 2 days. We're getting qualified targets that are validated by our information and our known relationships. It's through DealTorch that we're able to take investments, bring them to you. We're able to find them that are in the red and the white and bring them into the black. I look forward to speaking to you about this later in our Insights Lab. Thank you.